marketing is there in my heart and my soul always. A lot of people in India are doing MBA because they don't have a job. So my dad's a doctor, and I had this inclination of being a doctor when I grow old as well. I think people are giving more responsibility and accountability to MBA grads these days. I think everything happens for a reason.
सबकी लगी हुई है.
If I can crack cat, anybody can.
She's getting emotional. I can hear the emotions in her voice. She needs to start talking about humor. Welcome everyone. I'm very happy to introduce Harshita to the viewers of our channel. She's a graduate of IIM Vishakhapatnam, and what made me want to interview her for this channel is that when I started to read her LinkedIn content that she creates, it was very obvious that she has a marketing bent. When you read someone, you understand that okay, this person understands how to tell a compelling story, how to create a brand name. And I have seen a lot of marketing people, but when you see them trying to create their own brand, you don't see a compelling story. You don't see compelling arc across their post, across their content. But with Harshita, I saw that. That made me very excited to interview her for our channel. And I think a lot of you will learn a lot about marketing from her today in this channel. So we'll talk about her growing up, her IIM Vishakhapatnam journey, and her job at Airtel, and then we'll get into her idea of creating a brand. How does she tell a compelling story, and so on. Tell us more about you. Which city did you grow up? How was your growing up years like? And school kaisa tha? And what got you motivated to do an MBA? A lot of questions there for you.
Yeah. Firstly, thank you so much for such a compelling introduction. I don't think I deserve a lot of it, but still, I'm going to share my story. So yes, I grew up in Jaipur, which is like the Pink City, and just like the Pink City, my life has also been an amalgamation of various kind of experiences. Since a very young age, I have been, instilled this thing of being an achiever. Throughout my school life, my school was the one which was very focused on extracurricular activities. So along with academics, I used to be used to do these classes of art, of dancing, of craft, everything all together. So that actually had this so since a very young age, I had this feeling of building a profile for myself even before I knew what building a profile meant. Okay, I just wanted to be like ace everything together. So we used to have a lot of clubs, a lot of competitions that used to happen, and I always used to participate in all of them. I used to participate in theater a lot, in art, painting, these kind of things a lot. I used to also do a lot of dancing and also sports. So I think all of these have framed the person that I am today, and it had a lot of impact on me growing up as well.
I have a daughter who is in second grade. And do you remember you were just born like that, or was it something that your parents did that got you so involved in extracurricular activities?
I mean, so I'll tell you one instance. In my school, we had a kind of a different. So we used to call it a red tie, which was a distinction that was given to students who are performing over and above their academics, and that was a very very prize like thing for me, that I wanted to achieve that. And since I had interest in all these things, and my parents were also very open for me to learn things, because I was a second child, and my sister, who is like my elder sister, she's very focused on studies, and I always wanted to do things that are not related to studying, because studying I felt was okay, easy, I can do it. When I was in nursery, I got a 99.99 percentage when students didn't even study. So studying for me was like, okay, this is given, but I want to do something extra. I want to prove myself in different facets. So yeah, that was
So
it
Harshit,
when I was.
Harshita, nursery में you got 99.99%.
Yeah.
मतलब in your school nursery में percent calculate कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, I
Seriously,
mean.
मतलब That is very, very,
And
very
and
interesting.
the
Yeah.
the funny part was that I got a very good like puzzle as a prize to solve, and I used to take a lot of pride in that. But yeah, I
Mm.
didn't even know what that meant at that time.
So हर्षिता, just aside, मेरी daughter जिस स्कूल में जाती है till fifth grade they have no grading at all. She gets no grades till fifth grade. माने that's how different it is. Uh, but not necessarily I support that. I'm actually trying to change the school. So tell me about your school. Did you go to a different school? जैसे मैं जब इंडिया में था, I went to a CBSE board school. तुम क्या, did you go to a national school? Did you go to a local Rajasthan school? What kind of school did you go to?
No, no. So mine was a CBSE, and we had I don't remember the name, but at that time when I was in ninth standard, they changed the whole system or eighth standard. So then it became very grade oriented and not very percentage oriented. So CCE system, I think that was the one that they kind of started rolling out at that time. But yes, I've always wanted to feel that even my sister, she was in ICSE board, and I used to feel a difference in our studying patterns a lot because I really felt that ICSE is way ahead than CBSE. But I think CBSE is wholesome in itself. Like, I didn't face any kind of troubles in studying when I was growing up. But yes, the other IB folks and ICSE folk had a upper hand in a lot of things. So yeah, but then
I have studied in both ICSE and CBSE. My both board exams, and I know this is a long, many, many years ago, but 10th and 12th boards I gave in CBSE, but till 8th I studied in ICSE. It was like when I was in 8th, ninth, then our school decided that they are moving from ICSE to CBSE. And I can see the difference. So I'll tell you my top two or three headlines on the difference. At the time, it might be different now, but at the same time, things remain the same more often. Is कि ICSE had a very higher standard of English. तो वो शेक्सपियर टाइप की चीजें हम सिक्स सेवेंथ में पढ़ रहे थे एंड सीबीएसई में गए तो मतलब इंग्लिश वाज अ केक वॉक the moment. It was very different. We had to answer questions in English from stories rather than be more creative.
exactly,
That's
be
what I
more
remember.
critical
Yeah,
and reasoning se zyada it's more about like just answering the question, and even
yeah, yeah.
mathematics on that aspect
So
because we used
maths
to
was
solve
my
NCRT.
recollection,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. मैं maths में हमेशा
Hmm.
kind of topper ही था. तो
Okay.
मेरे को तो ऐसे ही लगा कि मतलब एक आईसीएससी में टॉपर होने से सीबीएसई में टॉपर हो गया तो मेरे को फर्क नहीं पता चला मे बी अदर पीपल फाउंड अ डिफरेंस आई डोंट नो
Hmm.
साइंस में थोड़ा बहुत था हिंदी ऑन द अदर हैंड हिंदी में आई डोंट नो वेदर वी हैव टू बीप दिस बट फटली कंप्लीटली बुरी हालत हो गई क्योंकि जो हमने बचपन से हिंदी
Hmm.
पढ़ी थी आईसीएसई बोर्ड्स में
Hmm.
सडनली नाइन्थ स्टैंडर्ड टेंथ स्टैंडर्ड में हम हिंदी पढ़ रहे थे आधे तो वर्ड्स ही नहीं समझ आ रहे थे हिंदी की टीचर भी ना डिक्शनरी लेके बैठी हुई थी क्योंकि उसने भी हमेशा आईसीएसई बोर्ड की हिंदी पढ़ाई थी तो सबकी लग
Hindi
गई
at that
सबकी
time
लग
was crazy. Hindi was crazy.
गई yeah so yeah
Hmm.
we were part of the changeover batch and I'm glad that you also I finally found someone even in today's generation जिसने changeover किया थोड़ा सा आईसीएसई एंड सीबीएस
Yeah,
से
yeah, I totally feel it.
या बट उसके बाद
Yeah.
क्या किया फिर स्कूल के बाद
So like I told you, school mein hi I got a lot of involved in other activities as well, and I used to get a lot of praises from other people as well. So after my dad's a doctor, and I had this inclination of being a doctor when I grow old as well. But my parents were kind of like, they were like, you think what you want to do for yourself, don't just force yourself into a profession because your dad is in a profession, because it's not easy, it's very difficult. And I think at the time when I was thinking of giving PMT or preparing for it, I think around 2 to 3 people had committed suicide or something because of the pressure and all that. And my parents were kind of skeptical of doing this to me and like 5 to 6 years of studying, and then you need to do your MD as well, and then a lot of things go on. So yeah, at that time I was very confused on what I should do, because again, I was a student who was good at a lot of things. I was good in creative things, artistic things, as well as studying, so it was a very picky thing for me to choose. But then I went on to do something in the commerce background, and I chose commerce in my 11th and 12th standard. I actually loved these subjects of economics, and I loved statistics a lot. And I really felt that they're, connected to the real world a lot. I'm getting to learn a lot about the real world, accounting, finance, all these things really made me interested in the business world.
So हर्षिता,
So,
डॉक्टर नहीं
yeah.
बनना था, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, बट साइंस भी नहीं ली, कॉमर्स पे एकदम सीधा कॉमर्स में.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. So, I was not really very good at like maths and physics. So, मेरा goal था कि अगर मेरे को science लेनी है तो I'll do bio only. I cannot study like physics and all.
हाँ, बायो में
So,
मैथ्स इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होती ना डॉक्टर के
exactly.
लिए.
Yeah, so and then I was also interested since I was good at art and sketching. So usme I used to see that they used to make a lot of models, and I was really good at that detailing and all. So वो भी एक interest था कि if not doctor I can get into biotechnology or anything else. But then I thought let's go for commerce, and I think business world is more fascinating and a lot can be done as well. So yeah, then I went for it.
ओके, आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू अ सीक्रेट, आई शेयर अ सीक्रेट. तो मैं तो साइंस में था, एंड देन साइंस में वो भी फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स वाला साइंस में, एंड देन आई डिड माय ग्रेजुएशन इन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स. और लेकिन maybe some of my batchmates are watching this, maybe they will, and maybe some of my other classmates. तो मैं आज सीक्रेट बता रहा हूँ कि सबसे अच्छी लड़कियां हमारे कॉलेज में ना बायोकेमिस्ट्री वाली होती थी. एंड आई एम टॉकिंग लाइक अ 17 ईयर ओल्ड, विच इज लाइक बहुत साल बीत गए हैं, 30 साल बीत गए हैं उस जमाने को. बट सबसे अच्छी लड़कियां बायोकेम में होती थी. तो या इफ
नहीं, but
एनी ऑफ
I
माय
think,
क्लासमेट्स फ्रॉम देन आर
yeah.
वाचिंग, तो ये मेरी सीक्रेट थी. आई एम श्योर यू अग्री.
But yeah, there is an inclination of women going into medical fields, I feel. That is there.
So, did you go to college in Jaipur or did you go to a different city?
Yeah, so I think this is something which is very touchy and sensitive to me. So after my undergraduation, I got a really good percentage. I got around 95 point something in my 12th standard, and I got into some good colleges of DU as well as Mumbai University, and I went for this college called Jai Hind, Mumbai. And I at that time, again, I was a bit confused about what to go ahead with in terms of the course that I was going ahead with. So went ahead with BMM, which is a bachelor's in mass media, which is something that the Mumbai University has flagshipped as a course. And when I started the course, I realized that this is way into the media and advertising industry, and I really want to study more about accounts, about business, and about like the real life business world. So at that time I was at a standstill that should I continue with this, or should I just like take a step back and then go ahead with some other course. So I just took a step back. I came back to my hometown and I went ahead with a degree of business in business administration. So yeah, this was a very big change that I had
Yes.
to
And it also must have
face.
been
Yeah.
very stressful because I know कि
Yes.
एक college में जाना, then losing a year, coming back home, people get very
No,
stressed
no,
out.
I didn't lose a year. So this is how. So I went there for around 5 to 6 months, and then by chance there was a college in my hometown which was still accepting admissions, and I didn't want to waste a year anyhow. So I just came back and then I started studying. But then the this whole experience of living in Mumbai for like 5 6 months and talking to people who were there in that college, I realized that in my hometown, however advanced it is getting right now, but people are still very like procrastinating and very lazy in terms of their career. And I realized that this is not a very fast paced city, and I need to do something which is out of the box here, because I am not from a tier 1 college now. I am not from even a tier 2 college now, maybe like a tier 2 borderline, but I need to make my profile really good to stand out from a crowd of people who are really from a good college. And I deserve that because I got a percentage which is equal to them. Just because I couldn't study in that college shouldn't like stop me from getting good placements and all. So this was a very big kick that made me do a lot of internships in my whole 3 years. I did around 15 to 16 internships during the whole course of my 3 to 4 years of like my bachelor's, and then 1 year after that.
Very good, very good. So, with over 90 percentile, you could have gotten into a BCom program in a Delhi University college like Lady Shriram, and in some way you could have gotten into one of those colleges, and then you must have felt like I'm coming back to a tier two college again, and you had a chip on your shoulder, looks like.
Yes, yes, definitely. That was a very, very depressing 2 3 months for me.
Sure.
But then, yeah, I think everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So,
So you told us about your dad that he's a doctor. Tell us about your mom. I think our moms deserve a shout out on this channel.
yeah, yeah, definitely. My mom is my biggest supporter, and I think so people say that I'm just like a copycat of her.
She's
So
getting emotional. I can hear the emotions in her voice. She needs to start talking about your mom. Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm really close to my mom, and she's a homemaker. And she's also studied medicine only, but she's a homemaker right now.
So dad's a doctor, mom studied medicine, and you decided कि science भी नहीं लेना.
No, because they were they were very confused that no, no, you should not take science at least. Take humanities, take commerce, don't take
Wow.
science.
My dad's an IIT engineer, and so is his brother, and so on. And my mom's from ITBHU and etc. And my dad was telling me after 10th कि बेटा कॉमर्स ले ले. मैंने बोला नहीं, मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे आए हैं, एंड दिस वाज इन द 90s कि मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे आए हैं, मैं कॉमर्स क्यों लूं, मैं तो साइंस ही
Yeah.
लूंगा.
Harshita, what did your sister end up doing?
So my sister works as a solutions consultant at McKinsey right now. So she's from a very tech background.
So you finish your undergrad or graduation. US may we call it end up calling it undergrad, but you finish your graduation in business in Jaipur, and then एक साल का break लिया to prepare for CAT, or did you directly go into IIM Vishakhapatnam?
So after my undergrad, COVID hit, right? So I was placed in two companies after my undergrad, but they both deferred the offer to next year. To next year, but then I didn't wanna waste that much of time because they were around 6 months, and I knew that I have to give CAT, and I knew that this gap counts, and I need to be answerable to the interviewer for this gap, and I didn't want this gap to happen. So I searched for jobs, and I got a lot of offers as well, since I had a lot of internship experience and my skills were also there. So I started working with an ad agency in Delhi only. So but it was a work from home job at that time because of the COVID situation. So I had been constantly working only, and then in next year 2020 2021 December November I gave CAT. So but then I didn't have a break as such.
हर्षिता, एड एजेंसी दिल्ली में, was it like a TV ad agency? किस टाइप की ad agency? Because I know that's a spectrum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it is a 360-degree marketing agency, but I used to work on a lot of FMCG clients, very big FMCG clients. So I had got an experience of TV ads, of ATL BTL campaigns, of social media marketing, SEO, digital marketing, all these things. It was a very holistic kind of a role, and I was working as a client servicing manager. So I used to basically help all the cross functional teams to work on the requirements of the clients on the basis of the creative inputs that we have. So
Right. And Gix probably recognizes that when we were in IIMs, I was like one of the marketing guys, ki marketing karna hai, but this was like 25 years ago. And marketing has changed. And 360 marketing was never a buzzword at that time. So मुझे थोड़ा बहुत अभी पता चल रहा है, and I'm not in marketing anymore. But can you tell me what is 360 marketing? What is the today's definition of 360?
So this is also, I'll tell you, this is from 2 3 years ago. Okay, I'll tell you the difference of 2 3 years ago and now, because I'm also working in marketing now. So before this time, I think marketing was 360 degree meant digital, social, and the traditional or the offline marketing kind of activities. But now there's a lot of AI as well. So it has become a lot more automated, a lot more lead generation, funnel making has developed on a lot of fronts. And at that point, I think I was focused on a very because it was before MBA, I was focused on more of the superficial aspects of marketing. I could not get into the business aspect of it, and I used to work with brand managers of these FMCG giants on a day to day basis. And when I used to talk to them, I used to realize that, okay, whatever we are doing right now, even if it's just one ad, there's a very big business implication of it. There's sales that is going on the back end, and I need to understand it. And that was one thing that actually led me to pursue an MBA. But to come back to your question of 360 degree, I think yes, it is more on the social as well as like the holistic social, digital, traditional marketing aspects of a company.
हमारे टाइम पर भी तीन चीजें होती थी मार्केटिंग में. उसको बोलते थे टीवी, रेडियो और होर्डिंग्स.
Yeah.
आउटडोर. टीवी, रेडियो,
Yeah, so
आउटडोर.
अभी
ये तीन ट्रायंगुलेशन होती थी मार्केटिंग की.
अभी ये तीन को हम बोलते हैं ट्रेडिशनल मार्केटिंग, एंड देन बाकी हमारा डिजिटल आ जाता है.
Yes, yes. And so Harshita, you had decided in your job that you want to do an MBA or do something else after your pre-MBA marketing. So how did IM come into the picture?
Yeah. So after my undergraduation, I knew that I want to go for masters, but I always wanted to go for masters abroad. I wanted to study. I used to research on these courses which were more like masters in advertising, masters in marketing. In the UK, there were a lot of courses like that, but because of COVID, my parents insisted that I study it here in India. And then I started researching on what are the exams that I need to give in India to do that. And CAT was one of them, and MAT, ZAT, a lot of these exams. And yeah, for cat, I really felt that I'm not a very good person in quick mathematics, but I'm really good at logical reasoning and problem solving and all these things. So I tried to, even in my preparation, I tried to make it in such a way that I don't attempt a lot of questions, but I attempt the questions that are difficult and not a lot of people would be able to attempt them, but I can get good marks out of it because it's all relative in CAT percentile. So
And see, I mean, this is my understanding about CAT, not just back 25 years ago, but even today, is that the IIMs are making it or trying to make it that it is even कि सारे IIT वाले नहीं पहुंच जाएं IIM में. So they are trying to make it even because in management, in business, while maths is a good part of business, right? मतलब अगर आपको डेबिट क्रेडिट नहीं आता है कि धंधा कैसे करना है वो नहीं आता है तो प्लस माइनस उतना तो बेसिकली चाहिए बट यू डोंट नीड टू बी अ जीनियस इन मैथ्स. You don't need to have cleared the JEE IIT wala. And I think they're trying to even the scales out, but there is still a long way to go. So tell me one thing. What is your tip for people who come from either an arts background or a commerce background, जिनको maths थोड़ा सा weak लगता है? Because a lot of people ask us, even in previous episodes, people have asked us कि कैसे हम करें? Uh, I am weak in maths. What is your three top tips for them? Because you've been through that, right?
Yeah. I'll give you one context also for this. I have posted two LinkedIn posts on specifically this topic, that I was really pissed at engineers giving CAT with non-engineers, because I always felt that they have an upper hand here. They have studied all of this before, and it becomes really easy for them. But then yes, there are a lot of things that the CAT whole forum is doing for to making it more equivalent for everybody. But yeah, coming to the tips, I feel like firstly, disclaimer, if I can crack CAT, anybody can. Like specifically the quant section of it, because I was more than not able to solve it, I was scared of it. And I think that's the problem with half of the people. They are scared of it. They might be able to solve it, but unko itna dar lagta hai that they're not even just taking the first step towards it. So what I did was, in my journey, I specifically took a tutor who was a tutor from IIT BHU. He studied from there, and he used to teach near my house. He used to teach basic mathematics. And before even starting my journey of getting to the advanced level or going for some coachings like IMS, time, etc., I did that for around 3 to 4 months, and I got a gist of what I'm able to do, if I'm able to solve things, and what level I am. So one would be to go for basics first. Maybe find someone who can teach you like proper 10th NCRT maths. They make you good at percentages and ratios and simple things like that. My whole focus was not to crack the advanced parts of quants, but to get really good at the basics, get really good at certain areas like algebra and arithmetic. Arithmetic takes a lot of part of the whole paper. So arithmetic, geometry, I really like geometry. So 2 3 parts I made them like my specialty and expert in it. And that is, I think, a really good tip. One more thing would be, this is specifically when you give the exam, don't go for solving a lot of questions, because I remember during my exam there were around 2 to 3 questions that I only solved because I knew some tricks, because I knew that okay, इसका आंसर प्राइम नंबर नहीं हो सकता, इसका मतलब some basic rules, because I knew that I didn't even need to solve them, and it just 1 second made happened. And so that I could give time to the questions that were time consuming. For example, logs is a subject that I was really scared of, because I didn't study it in 11th and 12th. PNC, trigno, all these things. But then I just realized that they can be solved with some simple rules, and you need to remember that. Matlab, compared to algebra or something which can come really advanced in the exam, logs questions are generally either easier to mid easy level. So yeah, your strategy should be according to that.
I think you pointed out one very basic thing, that maths or even English in CAT and logical reasoning and DLR whatever is 10th वाला syllabus पे से ज़्यादा नहीं जाते हैं. Everything else is like a you might learn more and be able to do it, but finally 10th वाला syllabus से ज़्यादा है ही नहीं CAT में और बहुत सारे. So I'll tell you what my takeaway. You summarize brilliantly. आपके 3 points is don't be scared. क्योंकि for people viewing this, I would say don't be scared because everyone is scared. तो आप क्यों scared हो रहे हो? सबकी लगी हुई है. Number one. Number two is कि you said कि you identified your weakness and then got help in that weakness. चाहे वो tutor है या कुछ भी है. So that is, as I see it, कि वो get help in your weakness and reduce your weakness. You don't, it doesn't become your strength. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो सडनली आपकी सुपर पावर बन जाएगी, बट एटलीस्ट वीकनेस बचा लो. और थर्ड जो आपने बोला था कि ऑन द डे, ऑन द डे अगर लग गई तो कुछ ना कुछ जुगाड़ करो। ठीक है ना? इंडियंस हम हैं, हम कुछ ना कुछ जुगाड़ तो लगा ही लेते हैं उस टाइम पर। डू नॉट गेट स्ट्रेस्ड। दैट्स माय टेक अवे फ्रॉम व्हाट यू जस्ट सेड, हर्षिता। वेरी गुड।
Harshita, I thought I heard that you were interested to also do education abroad. So how did you make the choice? When did that interest come after IIM Vishakhapatnam, or did that interest come before IIM Vishakhapatnam? और वो choice कैसे किया?
So this was before I am Vishakhapatnam. Before, when I was thinking of doing masters, my first choice was to do masters abroad. So because I thought there were a lot of good courses in advertising, in marketing, and I wanted to go for that. ROI इतना अच्छा नहीं था, so that was one thing definitely. But then because of it was totally because of COVID that I even thought of doing a masters here in India. And yeah, I mean, there is no other logical reasoning towards it.
Okay, okay. And have you made up your mind that you are not going to study anymore? Or because we in India, we tend to say we grew up much faster than here in the US. And here in the US, you'll see people even in their 30s, they've still not started their career. They're still saying that, look, I can still become better at things. But in India, it feels like acha, if it's 25, you have to have a career, you start getting married. So is this your education, or do you want to study more?
I mean, I really like I want to, but I am not sure what I want to do. But I like studying in general. Like I like the whole practice of learning things, and then this has been a lot of time since I've been studying. So even my parents were like, okay, now you need to just like work and earn something, and then you need to maybe think based on that. So yeah, I have plans of studying, but not really sure right now.
Mhm. This is Miglani after IIM Bangalore. He did an MBA at London Business School, and we had a couple of other batchmates from IIM Bangalore who came to the US and did their PhD, and now they're professors in the US. So
Oh, that's crazy.
A lot of people kind of keep studying for no
Mm,
end or means whatever. uh, और बाद में लगता
yeah.
है 20 साल बाद जाके कि यार क्यों इतना ज्यादा पढ़ाई कर ली. Anyways, Harshita,
No,
so
but how was your experience doing MBA here and then there?
वो भी उसके लिए मैं यहाँ पे एक वो लिंक डाल दूंगा. उसमें एक
Okay.
मेरा भी एपिसोड है जिसमें मैंने वो वाला एपिसोड बताया है. एंड फॉर द व्यूअर्स
Okay.
आउट हियर कि आई हैव ऑलरेडी सेड दैट.
but I'd like to make one comment. What I have seen empirically, just looking at our batch, which graduated in the year 2000, as 25 साल हो गए हैं, कि people who went and did more education, their careers did accelerate compared to people who did not do extra education. So I think Miglani's career accelerated. He's a venture capitalist in London now, and I think going to London Business School was a critical element of it. नहीं तो अभी वो दिल्ली में ही बैठा होता. Or जैसे राम रंगनाथन, Upender, these two guys, they came here, did PhD, and now are professors in the US. I think their careers also accelerated. So based on at least my batch, I can say that further education, at least professionally, seemed to have helped.
सो आई थिंक कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस होता है हमेशा. एंड
Hmm.
कॉस्ट इज इन टर्म्स ऑफ द एक्चुअल मनी यू स्पेंड ऑन एजुकेशन, द लॉस्ट इनकम यू have on education, and the time and effort you spend on that.
The opportunity cost as
या
well.
या तो वो सब होता है. बट वी आर कमिंग बैक टू योर अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट कि यू हैव ऑलरेडी नाउ गिवन द कैट एंड प्रोबेबली क्लियर्ड इट एंड वी आर गोइंग टू कम. बट मैं एक क्वेश्चन पूछना रह गया कि कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस किया था या डिड यू सी कि अगर मैं कैट नहीं क्लियर कर पाऊंगी व्हाट वाज योर अल्टरनेटिव पाथ.
Um, so when I was preparing for it, I used to think that, but so I never had a problem. A lot of people in India are doing MBA because they don't have a job. ठीक है. Or either they don't have a job right now, or they want an acceleration in their package, in their salary, or some other role, like a manager profile from tech. But for me, there was no such problem like that. Like I got a lot of job offers, and I knew that after working for like 2 years or 2 or 3 years, maybe if I go abroad and do a master's there and get a job there, or even if I'm in India, I can get a good package just like switching jobs and working for some time with work experience. So MBA was not like a deal breaker for me, but yeah, there was this feeling of, one was because I never lived college life, like proper residential college life.
रेजिडेंशियल कॉलेज लाइफ, नॉट लाइक जस्ट कॉलेज लाइफ। तो हॉस्टल हॉस्टल में रहना था आपने, एमबीए इसलिए किया, आईएम इसलिए गए क्योंकि आपको हॉस्टल में रहना था।
Matlab, the whole experience of it, the way it has changed me, the way it builds a personality is really like really different. So, and a lot of my friends had that experience, and I never did because my undergrad was in Jaipur. I used to live there. I used to go, and it was like around. I just used to go for classes, and I used to come back. So, वो experience नहीं मिला मुझे to grind and to learn things differently. So yes, that was a reason, and a lot of different reasons, but yeah, MBA was something that was some like my plan A, and there were a lot of plan Bs though.
परफेक्ट, परफेक्ट। सो कर दिया, कैट कर दिया, एंड वी गॉट योर टिप्स हाउ यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर कैट एंड फॉर एवरीवन एल्स who has who is going to go through CAT. But what happened after that? कॉल्स आई, कितनी कॉल्स आई, एंड इंटरव्यूज क्या हुआ?
Sure. So after my cat, I was not that confident ki it went well. So I also had a lot of other exams lined up like ZAT and NMAT and SNAP. ZAT went good, but except like a certain
Zat is
section
what,
of the.
XLRI wala Zat?
Yes, yes, yes. That is that. But a certain section of that didn't go that well for me. So I got to know that okay, this is not gonna happen. However, I'll be able to get good percentiles in other sections, but because of this section, I'll miss the cutoff. So that I was sure of. And then I gave yeah, so with my cat, I think in December, cat ka percentile or the marks come already. So we kind of get an estimate of how many calls can we get and these things. So I started getting calls from tier two colleges and from private colleges as well. But
कब आती हैं ये कॉल्स हर्षिता? When do these calls come nowadays?
so I'm not sure right now, but if it's similar to 1 or 2 years ago, I think it's yeah, it starts coming around Feb, March, April, and they start lining up the interviews as well. So I think, for example, Great Lakes is there. There is also Gym, which is Goa Institute of Management. Four, all these have calls in the first half of the year itself, and they schedule the interviews also very quickly only. But there are also different lists that come, so first list and then second list and then a lot of lists after that. So yeah, those start going in. But actually I felt that these interviews were a very good practice for students to um, give the interviews for IIMs, which happen a bit later on. Like I had given IIM Amritsar, IIM Sambalpur, IIM Sirmaur, all these IIMs interviews, Nagpur. So yeah, they came a little later on.
कब आती हैं आईएम्स की, कब आती हैं? सो जस्ट लेट मी पुट द पर्सपेक्टिव is कि
Yeah,
December is CAT, right? Or is it November
yeah.
now?
November end.
Last week, November.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So November is CAT, and you get a lot of these tier 2 colleges in February, March. IIMs की
Yeah.
कब आनी शुरू होती हैं?
So IIM ka result comes around. I will have to give me 1 second. I'll just check.
नहीं नहीं, रफली बता दो, दैट्स फाइन।
Okay, it's I think January end. January first week we get the estimate marks, and Jan end tak we get the whole result. And then in the next 2 weeks we start getting calls. But then they have the interview schedules. So first week you'll just get a call, and then you'll be told about the interview in maybe like 2 3 more weeks. But then different colleges have different systems. Like for IIM Vishakhapatnam, there's a process of SOP. So first they will take an SOP from you, and then they will give you a call based on the SOP as well as the percentile. For Amritsar, they had a resume check or something like that was there. So there are different other
So you got a call from all these IIMs, Amritsar, how many calls did you get? 10 calls, 15 calls, two calls?
I think whichever college I applied to, I got a call from them. Except obviously the second generation IIMs, I got a call from all other.
And see, this is brilliant. And I'm saying this for some viewers who are watching, is it doesn't matter how many calls you get. I'll be very honest. I know people जिनको 6 7 8 calls आई हैं, zero conversion. एंड आई नो पीपल जिनको एक कॉल आई है अहमदाबाद या बैंगलोर से, फुल 100% कन्वर्जन उसी में पहुंच गए हैं. सो इसका कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है. हमारे टाइम पे तो जीरो ब्लैक बॉक्स होता था. जीरो जीरो. अभी आई एम सो ग्लैड टू हियर कि आपको स्कोर मिलता है, आपको उसके बाद फिर कुछ बताते हैं कि ये होता है, ये होता है. सो इट्स लाइक अ स्टेप फॉरवर्ड. It's still not transparent, and I don't think these systems will ever become transparent, because the moment you get fully transparent, क्या होता है फिर उसके बाद ना वो कोटा में फैक्ट्री बन जाती है.
True, true, true. But
So you
then,
got all
yeah,
these calls. अमृतसर, कौन सी थी अमृतसर? Let me count.
Amritsar, Amritsar, Nagpur, um, Sambalpur, Sirmaur, Vishakhapatnam, 5 IIMs, and then four Jim, Tapmi, um, Great Lakes, and yeah, on the top of my mind,
So five
these
IIMs
around,
and four others, and you got nine calls based on
yeah,
one CAT exam.
yes,
Wix.
yeah.
Huh, to Harshita, talking to you, it seems like your extracurricular activities from your childhood and just the way God made you, it seems like you do good in interviews and group discussions. So, what was your conversion rate? That out of these nine, how many actually sent you a letter to come?
I'll just touch wood here, but I have 100% conversion rate.
100%
So,
conversion rate. Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of like good with speaking and good with group discussions, and there were a lot of extempore kind of rounds as well. So, yeah, so I think because of that, maybe,
Mhm. And
yeah.
Harshita, I've been wondering, what language do you guys speak at home?
So, I am a Sindhi, but
Okay.
we mostly talk sometimes in Hindi, like mostly Sindhi Hindi mixture of
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
And you said that your sister is a consultant at McKinsey. So is she also did she also take the IIM route?
No, no, no. She, like I told you, she's from a tech kind of a role. So she worked as a business analyst, and thereon she moved to
Okay,
this. But she's also done an MBA from Symbiosis.
okay.
इंटरव्यू कैसी गई, हर्षिता? और इंटरव्यू में किसी भी, वेदर इट्स विशाखापट्टनम, अमृतसर, टेल अस वन स्टोरी विच इज लाइक कि क्या मजा आया, या फिर लग गई लेकिन एडमिशन हो गया, दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just tell you. So, my I am Vishakhapatnam interview and my I am Nagpur interview was like 1 day apart. So, first was Nagpur ka interview and then Vishakhapatnam ka. And I was inclined towards both of them. Like, these were my best bet at that time, and I wanted to get into any of them for sure. So, I was trying to give my 100% for the, and I'll tell you, there was a lot of gap between my last interview and the I am Nagpur's interview, like maybe like a 1 month gap.
ओके. और लास्ट वाली कौन सी थी?
Last, I don't remember, but maybe some private college, some private MBA college. ठीक है, but I got थोड़ा like I lost the touch a little bit. Like I was a bit chill now. I was like, okay, I've gotten calls. I'm gonna do MBA now, so that's final. And it was 1 month where I didn't like prepare that much. Like before that I was on my toes all the time, but it was 1 month where I was a bit chill. And then this interview happened, the Nagpur one, and I was also told on a very short notice. So I was a little like flabbergasted when it started. I gave my best, but I don't know why I talked about a few things that were in my mind. But there's a saying, if you're talking about something in your interview, you should know it like in depth. So I think they asked me a question about what are you doing in COVID, or how are you spending your time. And I mentioned something about doing yoga, which I was doing. Like I was very interested in meditation yoga at that time. But I did not memorize the names of asanas, because I didn't know that this could be something that would be asked to me in an interview. So then this interviewer asked me about just name 10 asanas or something around asanas she mentioned. But I couldn't, like, I just could remember half of it and I couldn't answer it properly.
आप मतलब पांच पांच
So
बोल दिए, राइट? यू नेम
हाँ,
5
मतलब
आसनास. 5
yes,
भी
yes,
ठीक है,
yes.
मतलब कंप्लीटली झूठ नहीं बोल रहे थे, बट थोड़ा-सा इंटरव्यू में एम्बेलिश करके बोल रहे थे. दैट इज़ फाइन. आई थिंक दैट्स
Exactly,
फाइन.
exactly. But I just felt like this was the only hiccup in that interview. Otherwise, it was going well,
Okay.
and because
And
of
what all,
this,
what other
yeah,
things did they ask you? Did they ask you about maths, Harshita? Since you said you were weak
yeah.
in maths.
No, no. So they asked me about marketing only. I think most of my interviews asked me about marketing. And since I had a work experience, like 1 year work experience before MBA, not a lot of them focused on my undergrad subjects, because a lot of people were asked about that. Who are freshers, but since I had work ex, they asked me about marketing only. They asked me about what have I worked in these internships, what did I work on, and some concepts of marketing, like what is marketing myopia, or some like tell me 4 P's of marketing, 7 P's of marketing. And yeah, so these kind of conceptual marketing questions.
And I'm sure you aced all those kind of questions because you were already working in that.
Yes, yes, these were like cakewalk for me. But then there were some questions about GK, about what did you read in the newspaper today? Like tell me 3 business world news that you read, or something about yeah, like. But there was a math question I remember in one of my interviews, and then I answered it correctly. So kudos to me on that. But yeah, that was it mostly.
Cool, cool. So you aced all these interviews and then you got your IIM of first choice and you
Yeah,
reached Vishakhapatnam, which I'm assuming you've never been to Vishakhapatnam before you reached
no,
Vishakhapatnam.
yeah, no, no, never.
So tell us about IIM and tell us about Vizag.
Sure. So, I am a beach person though, so I love beaches more than mountains. So I was really excited about going to Vizag. And I am Vishakhapatnam was really something that I really wanted to, go ahead with. So it was kind of like a check tick in the check box for me. But yeah, I think when I just started moving into it, we had a lot of groups that were made for students to interact with each other, which made the whole transition kind of easier. So that was really great. Since the time I visited Vishakhapatnam, it's a really beautiful place, with just like very different to where we live today, especially like I live in Gurgaon right now. So it's very different from that. It's very green, it's very um, good in flora and fauna and all these things. So yeah, I had a really different experience in terms of the whole city life. And especially our college is located in the outskirts, so we had a very less contact with the city. So that was also something that we really enjoyed in the first year of our college. It was also a college that was in the making at the time. We were the first batch. 2024 was the first batch of Vishakhapatnam that was there in the permanent campus. So they were kind of making the permanent, constructing the permanent campus that at that time. So a lot of these facilities like the gyms, the library and all, that started developing after 6 to 7 months of us moving there. So we have actually just, seen it from the scratch, from how it just developed into this beautiful place that it is now. So that was a really good experience. But yeah, if I talk about MBA there, I think I had never even talked to someone who has done MBA or even experienced a slight bit of it. So the whole residential part of it, the whole being in the clubs and societies, having to experience a lot of different kind of people who are elder to you also, who are younger to you also, who have experience of 5 to 6 years but are also freshers. So there was a very mixed kind of a crowd. Mostly with our batch, it was mostly a workex oriented crowd. Like the average workex was around 20 months or something. So I was really inclined to learn a lot from different people. And yeah, so it was a really interesting part of my whole MBA journey.
So you liked IIM Vishakhapatnam, and it seems like IIM Vishakhapatnam did give you a very well-rounded MBA education, though it's one of the newer IIMs, and also the fact that it's shifting from a makeshift campus to a permanent campus. So overall, and then from IIM Vishakhapatnam, you get into Airtel. Tell us what your life in Airtel looks like. Airtel kaisa hai? How is it as a company? Because I can tell you my experience that whenever I used to go to India, I used to use Airtel SIM card, and I used to get a Airtel SIM card at the airport. But recently, I've started to get Geo SIM cards at the airport. So it looks like Airtel has had a difficult competition with Geo. So educate me a little bit. Like looking from far, it looks like Airtel is losing from Geo. But is there more dimensions to this?
Okay. So, yeah, so I, after my MBA, I got a placement in Airtel. But I am in this, like this branch of Airtel, which is Airtel Business. So I work with the B2B arm of Airtel, which is Airtel Business. And it's comparatively newer. And we deal with businesses. We don't deal with, customers just like you and me. So it's a very different kind of an experience when I have been working with a lot of B2C companies before, and this is a B2B kind of a company. Marketing is also different from a B2C company to a B2B company. And also, since I do not have a tech background, and this is very tech oriented, like I know this is not like tech like product kind of a tech, like we don't make products, but it is also technical in terms of the whole telecommunication industry, the telecom industry, understanding it. And also, like, because I have not done, like, I think you have done electronic engineering in that. And you must know basic things like, how does a router work, or how does signal go from this, maybe. But yeah, how does phone work and all these things. But I was like, this was very astonishing and very new to me, and I learned a lot about that here. So that was very
So,
insightful for
what
me.
exactly is Airtel selling to businesses? The department that you work for, are you selling them connectivity like phones? Are you selling them routers? Are you selling them like lease lines? What is it that you're selling businesses?
Yeah, so I think most of what you mentioned. So we have a lot of different propositions for them. For example, I handle the portfolio of connectivity. So connectivity includes all these things like lease lines, and we have a lot of. So Airtel does not manufacture a lot of things, but we have partners for it. We have OEMs that provide us things. So we have OEMs like Cisco, Fortinet, and all these players. So we have solutions, and everything runs on connectivity, everything runs on internet lease lines. So uske that is a flavor that we give with the equipments made by the OEMs. So we make like a holistic managed service proposition for businesses.
Okay, so tell us in real, what does your life look like? What does the life of a first year marketing graduate at Airtel looks like? Airtel is such a huge company. Now, are you? I remember being a first year graduate, and I think Miglani will share the experience. My boss asked me to photocopy documents. Yeah, yeah, MBA करके I was photocopying papers, and I think Miglani shared once with me कि because when I used to work for a venture fund after graduating from London Business School, they wanted me to put numbers in a spreadsheet कि डेटा कलेक्ट करो कि कितनी कंपनीज है इस सेक्टर में उनके एंड आई वाज जस्ट लिटरली लाइक अ क्लर्क मैं एक स्प्रेडशीट में डेटा डाल रहा हूँ सो देयर इज दिस होल glamorous side of it. He's working for a venture capitalist and a venture capital firm in London, one of the biggest, and I'm here working for a tech company. But the reality of it was that these were huge organizations. There were bosses and bosses, and by the time the work got to me as a first year graduate, it was very limited. And but Miglani shares with me, and I think Miglani will agree that कि विकास वो स्प्रेडशीट जो बनाई थी ना उससे भी बहुत कुछ सीखा था. And I'll share with like initially just photocopying and writing the specifications of the software. It taught me a lot. But so, what does your life look like? Like, do you have a boss and a boss's bosses? All the decisions are getting made there. By the time it comes to you, you're probably like, if I was to say, if my daughter came to me and asked me, Papa, what will I be doing first year? I'll say, you'll probably be looking at the colors and saying if the color of the brochure looks okay, or maybe you'll be talking to the printing company, or the work that you do is not as glamorous as it would look from outside. So can you give us a real flavor? Ki reality mein, what does your day look like? What does your week look like?
Yeah, sure. I think I agree with you on a lot of these points. I think because I'm in touch with a lot of my colleagues and a lot of people who have just done MBA, and they have had, some of them have had similar experiences. But I think the whole market is changing a lot. I think people are giving more responsibility and accountability to MBA grads these days. And for me, the case has been totally different, because I think from the first day of this role, I have been given such big responsibilities. And so I'll tell you, the whole structure is like, there's Airtel, there's a Bharti Airtel group, and we have the Airtel business, and there are marketing CMOs in Airtel, and there's a CMO in Airtel business. So for me, my super boss, which is the super boss, which is the CMO, the whole vision of him is to empower the, like, our whole generation, because there are a lot of the last in the food chain, if I must say. So to empower us, and to make us independent in terms of handling responsibilities, and yeah, to learn more things. So that vision, the vision of a leader, actually plays a really important role in how the whole company works, I feel. So even because of that, my manager is very open to giving me opportunities. For example, in, I think, the first week of joining, I handled a whole event that happened with with like CXOs coming in, CIOs coming in, and I was the second person who was handling it with my manager. And from small details, from the whole arrangement there, to the invite to inviting everybody, to the lead generation mailers that happen after that, to whole the tracking the whole funnel and everything. So I was kind of given that kind of responsibility, and that made me really, really um, thankful and really grateful to them. And I became very responsible also, because I felt that with my one mistake, with just like one thing I procrastinated about, something can go really wrong here. So I became really cautious and very practical with my thinking as well. But apart from giving responsibilities, I know a lot of people don't experience this when they start working in marketing, because a lot of times it's sales and then you come to marketing. But for me, it is it is glamorous. It has been glamorous. It has been a lot of work, definitely. But yeah, I have been given the opportunity to take part in strategizing things for our products, get into the whole, when there are people talking about pricing strategy, they're talking about launching strategy. I was there present in the room learning from them firsthand. So that has been a great experience. And I think that will really help me accelerate my whole thinking and my.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
impressive that actually organizing the event to then having a lead funnel, mailers, and understanding, okay, we spent 10 lakhs on this event. Did we get three or four customers? And what's the ROI of this event? Participating in that full chain, I think that's very impressive, Harshit, and it talks to your abilities because not every first year MBA gets those responsibilities. And then being able to participate in strategy discussions, pricing discussions. So tell us more about Airtel business. Who is your main competitor? Who are you competing with?
So, for us in India, it is Tata, the Tata TCS or Tata Communications, because Geo does not cater to the business market that much that Tata does. So we take Tata as our competitor in that lease lines. So what happens in the telecom industry is that everybody works together, like they are competitors. But for example, if you have a business, you will not just take one internet line. You will take a primary line and then you will take a secondary line. So for your secondary line, you might go for some other partner. So what we Airtel does is we partner with our secondary partners like Tata or maybe like local providers, and then we give them a secondary line from that as well. So these are the things that, because they're just like two to three players in the market, right? Even if you say Geo is doing better, like Airtel will always be there in the top three. So yeah, I think they work collaborating with each other. But yes, there's a lot of, because it's a very B2B oriented market, the major focus is on relationships that they have with the customers, the credibility that we have. Even in our marketing, when I talk about the how marketing is different from B2C to B2B, is that it is here it is more about forming credibility, talking about how our customers have been benefited from our services. It is more about giving a proof that okay, this has worked for them and you should try it as well. We have a legacy, so all these things play a really big role
Who
here.
are your customers? Are your customers uh, lawyers, architects, interior designers, when a company with 10 employees, or are your customers companies with hundreds of employees?
No, no, like it is ranging from, like, we have different segments. So we have like small business segment here, we have mid market segment here, and then we have enterprise segment. So we cater to all three kind of businesses, because every, like, even an Infosys or Wipro or any kind of a campus kind of a company needs internet, needs lease line, and they cannot work on broadband internet, right? They need unlimited, they need dedicated bandwidths. They cannot afford a downtime in the internet. So that is something that we take very seriously, and that is why we cater to them as well.
That's very impressive. And do you focus on a particular geography that you and your team is focused in, say, the Delhi NCR region or North India? How is it divided? Or is it all of India?
So no, no. So, for marketing, as per, we have this differentiation of a global and a domestic. So, domestic includes every part of India, and global is something which is, since you can use Airtel SIMs like outside as well, right? In Singapore, in US, we have these submarine cables that go to that place, and then the signal goes. So, there's a global marketing team, and there's a domestic marketing team. So, it is divided like that.
And how big is the marketing team?
So we have around 20 people, 20 to 25 people.
Wow, so 25 people are doing the whole of Airtel business marketing in India,
Yeah.
and you're one of them.
Yes.
That's very impressive, Harshita. That's very impressive.
Thank
And
you. Thank you
yeah,
so
and you're
much.
positioning yourself so well with you're putting your face out there on LinkedIn, coming to this podcast, and so on. I can easily see Geo calling you and say, like, lead Geo's business efforts. And like, well, that's how careers go because you're very visible. And visibility is so important because decision makers, they need, when they, yeah, they might be good people, but if the decision maker doesn't know about it, how does it help? So decision makers need
Definitely, I
visibility.
agree.
So, Harshita, I've got two questions on this. I'll ask one at a time. Okay. If you are pitching to a client, do you directly pitch to a client or do you give the ammunition for someone else to directly pitch to a client?
So for pitching to the client, we have our sales team. So
So you're not going there on a Zoom meeting or in person saying, "This is my presentation."
no, 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 we don't do that. But what we do is that if there is any certain kind of different kind of customer who have a customization requirement, who wants to see something different in terms of the marketing of a product or something around that, then yes, we come into the picture. But otherwise, the whole pitching, talking to the customer, pitching, we have a whole sales department with our business solution group, our product specialist, our sales teams. So they do all the selling and the
And
talking.
don't you miss that direct selling because you were doing this before your MBA?
Yeah. So I'll tell you a funny story. So after my MBA, I was recruited for the role of CAM only. So CAM is a key account manager, which is a sales role in enterprise segment. So I was working in the sales role only in Airtel business also. But I think because of a marketing opening and my inclination towards marketing more than sales, I went for this role instead. But because of the experience I had in like 2 to 3 months, yes, it's a very thrilling experience. And I think one reason would be that when you get that order, when you get that, okay, I'm gonna buy you, and that shows in my, my list of orders that, okay, I generated this much of revenue, that is very very incentivizing and very nice. But then I just felt that my creativity and my ability to, in the beginning when you were mentioning about forming compelling narratives, stories, and all that was getting into vain. Like I could not see that I'm using that there. So that is why I felt that marketing is a better role for me.
Got it, got it. And my second question was, well, the question is, this looks like a very exciting job, something that even I want to do right now. Uh, how did you get this job? Which really means, how was your placements at IIM Vishakhapatnam, and where were you, and what was your interview experience? So both of these. कि placement कैसे होता है? Is it still day zero, day one, day two? How does that work?
So I think the day zero, day one thing works for IIM ABC, and maybe even for the other ones like Lucknow, Koikur, and all. But
But विशाखापट्टनम में क्या होता है?
for us, it is like placement season, like the whole like 2 to 3 months of a season, wherein companies keep coming on a day-to-day basis. And so for us, that we have like some companies that are normal companies, and then there are some companies that are I'm not remembering the name of it, but they're called dream companies. Yeah. So it's basically like if you've secured a position in a normal company, you can still apply for a dream company. But I think for us, this was the case. Now the rules have changed a bit because the
But in your
number
time,
of,
in your time, 2 3 years ago,
yeah,
when does the placement season start in your second year?
I think it starts around September,
Okay,
October, because I got
September of your
placed in
second year,
October.
मतलब just one term
Yeah.
into your second year.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So yeah, so because I got placed in October end around, so October, November. But yeah, it goes on till December ending and January. Yeah, it goes on till
So,
that.
so December, January तक most people are placed.
Yeah,
Wow.
most people are
Wow.
placed. Yeah.
वाह! हमारी तो प्लेसमेंट वीक्स, आई डोंट नो इफ यू रिमेंबर, बट हमारी तो प्लेसमेंट ही फरवरी में शुरू होती थी
Yeah,
of the second year, which is like 1 month before
Hmm.
graduation. So
yeah,
some things have
Okay.
changed since we graduated, and some things have changed because of different IIMs having it differently. And since
Yeah.
what Vix was saying earlier, since I've done a second MBA at LBS, I know, and I also know that this is true for most Western B schools like Harvard, Stanford, kahin par bhi. There's no placement day. You get what you get. It's like you eat what you kill. It's a hunter mentality. You eat what you kill. So that's how it is. And I think what you're describing, Arshita, is very close to like that mentality. I think from what I heard is Vishakhapatnam has a more international spectrum placements than the top ABC kind of IMs.
Yeah, I think yeah, if the day one, day zero, day one, day through two, three thing is not there, then I think most of the IMs in the second and third generation follow the placement season kind of a thing now.
Mm. Good stuff. Good stuff. So
Yeah.
so so you got placed, and that's where you reached. So I have
Yeah.
got to ask you this one next question. What next for Harshita?
Oh my God, this is a mystery
Only
to me as
marketing?
well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Before you answer it, I have to tell you this कि अगर कोई मेरे से पूछ ले, I have no answer
Hmm.
to this. कि मेरे को कल नहीं पता कि मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ.
I think that's the mind of a marketeer. I resonate
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. I kind of started my career in marketing. In the
Yeah,
IIMs, I was like a very much a marketing focused guy, and I did that for 5, 6, 7 years.
great. Yeah, so
Maybe,
I think
maybe, maybe one
hmm,
aside, maybe I'm still a marketing at heart.
once a marketeer, always a marketeer.
But tell us, Harshita, 2 years from
Yeah.
now, 5 years from now, what's your goal? Um, I mean, it can be within your company, it can be general career goal. What do you want to do? And what should
Yeah.
a current IIM graduate think about what is a marketing career look like in future?
Okay. I think there are a lot of like facets to it. I cannot give a linear answer here, but because it's just my first year of learning a lot of different things. I like I told you, I did not know about tech. I'm learning about tech. I did not know about B2B marketing. I'm learning about that. I did not know a lot about this product kind of a role. I'm learning a lot about that. So I am kind of discovering things right now. I'm kind of learning things. So right now I will focus on that for the next 1 or 2 years. And post that I will actually analyze on what I'm really good at and what is market going towards, what is the trend going on, how is the how is the tech market, how is the B2B market, how is the B2C market, and then maybe make a decision of where I want to go ahead. But for now, because of a lot of studying that has happened, because of a lot of different things I have worked on, I really want to just like settle and learn, learn properly at a place, learn really well in a certain field, and then go ahead with what I want to do.
Acha, a quick question, Harshita. This is like going back to what you were saying initially. Is you've done B2C marketing and you're now doing B2B marketing. And in my broad experience, I think they are two completely different sectors. They are more different from each other than finance is from marketing. मुझे ऐसा लगता है. Now, if you were to summarize that, like 3 points, what are the top three things if you were telling me जिसको कुछ नहीं पता, कौन से वो पॉइंट्स हैं कि B2B और B2C के डिफरेंस बिकॉज you've done both.
Okay, so I think one would be B2B is more stable than B2C. B2C is more volatile, dynamic, because it is about about the end user. You are talking to the end user right now. End user is changing, their demands are changing, their choices are changing instantly. For a toothpaste, or for like something like a face wash, you won't think a lot before buying. Like you'll just be attracted to a good advertisement, you'll be attracted to a good influencer promoting it, or a celebrity, or maybe maybe something else, maybe a newspaper ad or something like that. But but for a B2B person, for a B2B buyer to be buying something, they need a lot more than a B2C buyer. They need credibility, they need legacy. They cannot go for a very, because it is a very high ticket value thing than B2C. So that is one thing. Another thing would be how the marketing is different, is because the insights that we get from B2C are very, I feel like, very clear and very crisp. But for B2B, you have to identify the underlying insights, because they're not clearly visible there. You need to still have a touch of traditional as well as trendy things, because the people that we're dealing with are business owners who are not just young age people. They have experience in the field, they will not make a decision just like that. So we need to be in their shoes and take a decision in terms of the marketing there. And I think it's more or less this only. um
Day-to-day working life of a B2C versus B2B marketing person में क्या difference है?
सो आई थिंक अगेन इट इज मेजर डिफरेंस यही है कि B2C में ट्रेंड्स एंड डायनामिक्स आर चेंज. इट्स वेरी डायनामिक, इट्स चेंजिंग एवरी सेकेंड. देयर इज मोमेंट मार्केटिंग, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंट थिंग्स दैट आर हैपनिंग. यू नीड टू बी ऑन योर टोज. You can creatively experiment a lot more than B2B marketing. B2B marketing more established, more stable, and you can experiment definitely, but you need to be very cautious with the experiments, because if it doesn't go well, it will have a very big impact. And yeah, so I think majorly this.
Great. And Harshita, see that's what happens. We've been going on for nearly more than an hour, definitely, and we've been enjoying the conversation, and I hope some of our viewers will also. So, so tell me one thing. So now we've covered IIM, we've covered before IIM, we've covered what you're doing after IIM. Tell us something more about your future from a personal viewpoint. And personal ka matlab family viewpoint. Are you married? If you want to share, again, if you want to share family, kids, whatever else, and where do you look forward to? The reason I'm asking, just to be very clear, is a lot of people, including me, when we were in IIMs or even before IIMs, we didn't know कि यार ये IIM वालों की life क्या होती है, that kind of a thing. So, do you want to share anything? Feel free to, as little or as much.
So I don't think I'll have any interesting thing here, because I am 20. I just turned 26. So one second.
हमारे मैक्सिमम मैक्सिमम लोग ना जो देखते हैं वो अठारह
Hmm.
बीस साल के होते हैं. उसके हिसाब से
Hmm.
तुम तो बुढ़ी हो. ठीक है, मैं तो कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट दादाजी जनरेशन हूँ उस हिसाब से.
True. I don't
है
know
ना?
where time flies.
But tell me one thing, अगर if you think
Yeah.
that your life is not interesting.
No, no. I mean, I'll say it's interesting. It's interesting, but like no plans of
Okay, let me translate
marriage
that for
or
our
anything.
viewers. Let me translate
Yeah.
that. What she is saying is, my life is so interesting that I can't share the interesting parts. It's so interesting. And that's fine. We will park that aside. अब मुझे ये बताओ, Harshita.
Yeah.
Next question is, since we were talking about the future, You've
Yeah.
done B2C, B2B. Do you see your future only in marketing, or like me, for instance, when I was in marketing, I could only see a future in marketing, but here I am doing venture capital for the last 20 years. तो
Yeah.
किस्मत कहीं भी ले जाती है, but do you see anything outside marketing that you can ever do?
Yeah, definitely. I think that is what I was mentioning. In this role, I have learned a lot about product as well, like product management, product planning, strategizing, and all that. And I think before this, I never got a chance to learn about that. But I think this is also something that is very fascinating to me. So maybe I can learn more about this as well. So हाँ मतलब marketing is there in my heart and my soul always, but I wouldn't mind experimenting with different things.
Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, never keep your options closed. That's what I would say from my experience. A lot of, if any of my batchmates are watching this, some of them do, uh, then they, from my IM batchmates, they only know me as a marketing person. And some of my non-IM batchmates, like my LBS batchmates, they know me as a finance or a private equity person. So the same person has two different people looking at the same person in a very different light, where the light is shining. Because people change, and not just people change, it's like circumstances change. तो एक मेरे को लास्ट क्वेश्चन आप बताओ हर्षिता. Last question. If you were talking to Harshita from 10 years ago, and you had to give Harshita from 10 years ago some tips, what Harshita should definitely do and what Harshita should definitely not do, uh, वो दो तीन पॉइंट्स क्या हैं?
So I think I would be maybe 15 or 16 years old. So one tip would be, I mean, it's more like more in general, but I'll say that everything works out. Don't stress things out. But other than that, I'll tell you one thing because I have thought about this question a lot. In like even in general, I used to think of what I would say to my younger self. But there have been things that have happened for a reason, and they've happened the way that they have happened. Like I remember a time when I've stressed, and because of that stress, I've worked hard, and because of the that hard work, I have gotten into something. So I think it has been a circle, like it has been a cycle of things. But I think one more thing would be to always like give focus on studying. Studying is something that will stay with you, and even if like people tell you that grades don't matter, they do matter. So with all your extracurriculars, with everything, focus on studying as well. And I did focus on studying, but like focus on being stellar at academics, because
So
that
would you
helps.
say Harshita in class 11, please study, especially maths, थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ लो.
I mean, yeah, I would. I would do that. थोड़ा और maths पढ़ो. But don't stop having fun. So point number three would be um, to, I think, experience the journey, because I was always so focused on getting to a destination. Like when my undergrad ended, I wanted to get a job. Then when I was doing a job, I wanted to do MBA. Then during MBA, I wanted to do a job. So just like experience the journey, and the destination will come in its due time, in its sweet time. But don't forget to have fun during you get there, because time flew and I am like 26 now, and I have experienced a lot of good things in life. But yeah, I think this could be something that she could do more.
That reminds me, the moment people say things like, which to me sound like big things, even at my age. ये बड़ी बड़ी चीज है, मतलब जर्नी एंड नॉट डेस्टिनेशन। ये ना एकदम, ये वो भगवत गीता में वो लिखा हुआ है कि मतलब कर्म कर और फल की चिंता मत कर, दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग। बट आई एम सो ग्लैड दैट यू ऑलरेडी डिस्कवर्ड दैट पार्ट in life, which I'm still discovering right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey to even come to this discovery, but yeah, being self-aware, being aware of where I am, clarity of vision, and all these things are like still something that I'm trying to achieve. Yeah.
Great, Harshita. Thank you so much for coming on our channel, and thank you for sharing all your personal, intimate points about whether how you prepared, whether it's for people who are viewing it, but also for me and for Vix. It's like I mean, a lot of this is our journey and our self. Uh, we are learning a lot when we do our channel, but I'm sure a lot of viewers are learning from people like you and our previous and future guests. So thank you once again, Harshita.
Thank you so much for having me. I think you all have a lot more experience than me, but I am so glad that I could give in my 2 cents and maybe people could benefit from that.